What is going on, guys? How are you all doing? Silk issue 1 is here, and it's actually quite unexpectedly here. I mean, I expected it to release after the Amazing Spider-Man issue 15 because Silk issue 1 actually takes place after the Spider-Verse, and the Spider-Verse hasn't officially ended yet. It ends in the next issue of the Amazing Spider-Man. That hasn't been released yet, so it's kind of confusing because Spider-Man and Silk are back in New York, but in the Amazing Spider-Man we haven't seen that yet, so yeah, it's pretty weird, but either way, it's definitely worth picking up. Now guys, usually I would have a giveaway for this issue, but sadly I don't have one today. Hopefully I'll have one in the future, but it depends whether I can pick up the variants and stuff like that. But moving on anyway, it's issue 1 of Silk. This is the issue that most of us have all been waiting for, so without further ado, let's jump into this comic. Now guys, if you just want to read this, since this is the first issue, this page will give you a little bit of backstory in case you don't know who Silk exactly is. But in case you want me to explain it, basically she was bitten by the exact same spider that bit Peter Parker, and she has pretty much the same spider powers, except she's a little bit faster, she moves a bit quicker and stuff like that. She has heightened spider sense, and of course, she was in the Spider-Verse as well, so you've probably seen her before, but as you can see on screen, she's back in New York after the Spider-Verse has ended. And guys, one of the major questions that we all had during the Spider-Verse was, will all of the Spider-Men remember the Spider-Verse? Will everybody remember it, or will they all lose the memory? And it turns out that nobody loses their memory. Everybody remembers the Spider-Verse. I mean, Silk remembers the Spider-Verse, Spider-Woman remembers the Spider-Verse, so I don't understand how Superior Spider-Man forgot about the Spider-Verse in Superior Spider-Man issue 19 when he returned back to his own timeline. So that actually kind of confirms my theory that Superior Spider-Man didn't forget, he only said he forgot, if you get what I mean. But yeah. Anyway, as you can see on the screen, Spidey just saved Silk, and that of course means that Spider-Man and Silk both made it out of the Spider-Verse alive. Of course, we're still yet to see what happens in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 15, like the official end of the Spider-Verse. That's why I said that Silk released a little bit early for me, because it kind of confirms that Silk survives and 616 Spider-Man survives and Doc Ock doesn't do something crazy. Who knows, he might actually do something crazy, but you know, like, it basically, it's telling us that 616 Spider-Man and Silk both return to their timeline completely fine. But either way, as I was saying at the beginning, this, as you know, is Silk's own comic book series, which means that it's building up on her character. And as you could see there, we were seeing flashbacks as to talking back to her parents and how she has like a prolonged memory and heightened senses and stuff like that. And as you can see on screen, not only has J. Jonah Jameson worked with Peter Parker, but now he's also the boss of Cindy Moon. And that's really interesting because I kind of have this feeling as if J. Jonah Jameson is going to make Silk out to be like a really good person, you know, like try and save someone, and then he's going to have Spider-Man as the public menace, and he's going to it's going to be a little bit, not awkward, but you know, like there's going to be a bit of that competition between Peter and Silk, because Peter's going to be getting bad publicity and then Silk's just automatically going to be getting good publicity. And that's actually quite hilarious in its own little way, because she's basically just doing the exact same thing as Spider-Man, but the only difference is that J. Jonah Jameson likes Silk and not Spider-Man. I don't know, I just have a feeling that that is definitely going to happen, especially because J. Jonah Jameson wants to find out more about this Silk person. But when Peter Parker first became Spider-Man, J. Jonah Jameson just hated on Spider-Man straight away without finding out anything about him. So that's really interesting to see. And of course, as you could see there, Silk still doesn't know her true power. She doesn't know how strong she is. Her spider sense is actually messing up a little bit, because if you remember, the moment she came out of that bunker, she kind of just went straight into the Spider-Verse. She didn't have that much time to figure out her own powers. She didn't get to like live in the real world. She just went straight into the Spider-Verse. And right now we're seeing on screen what looks to be her ex-boyfriend, and I absolutely love this because as you can see at the science fair there, Peter Parker was actually taking a picture, which means that of course he was there as well, which we already know. But I thought it was really interesting to see that little flashback and still see Peter Parker in the flashback there. I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, so as you can see, Peter's just dropping in now and again, but if you remember, Peter and Cindy both had that, you know, that spider connection thing or whatever was going on. So it doesn't make sense that they can't. It's like they're avoiding each other kind of to prevent that, but maybe something happens in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 15 to, you know, towards the end of the Spider-Verse, maybe something happens between them where they just decide to stay away from each other or something. Not entirely sure, but we'll have to wait for that issue to release. But as you can see, Silk has gone back to the bunker that she's been living in for the past 10 years. And of course, she feels like home, it feels comfortable there, she's used to it. And then we see the villain Dragonclaw go back to his boss, which actually turns out to be Black Cat, surprisingly, because I completely forgot that she now has a hatred for Spider-Man ever since Superior Spider-Man beat her up and put her in prison. I kind of think that she's going to do something pretty sinister. I mean, she's been evil for a couple of months now. She's had that rage for Spider-Man for the past few months. And it looks like she's putting together her own little supervillain team, a little bit like her own Sinister Six, if you know what I'm talking about. But now going back to Silk, she's still doing some research on her parents. As I've been saying, the entire Silk series is her trying to find her parents and trying to figure out where they've gone and what's been happening for the past 10 years. And she's got them all webbed up on the wall. She's trying to find them. And then we discover that someone's actually watching her. There's actually hidden cameras in her bunker, and who could it be? Seriously, I mean, it turns out that all these 10 years someone has been watching her, and I know what you guys are thinking, because I am thinking the exact same thing. It could be Cindy's parents. I think the entire 10 years it's been Cindy's parents that have been watching over her in this bunker and making sure she's safe, and they are still doing that. And as you could see, they even predicted that she'd come back to the bunker. Obviously she'd come back to the bunker because she's been living there for 10 years. It's the only place she's known to live, it's where she feels comfortable. And of course it could be other people like S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't think S.H.I.E.L.D. is as, you know, they don't get as involved as they do in the Ultimate Universe. So I doubt it'd be S.H.I.E.L.D. agents or anything like that, but yeah, definitely Cindy's parents. I mean, she's looking for them, so I mean, it would make sense for them to still be there. I mean, she can't find them anywhere. They moved out of the house, so maybe they're in their own bunker. Maybe I don't know. I'm just blasting out things, but guys, what did you think of this issue? It is the first issue of Silk issue 1. Make sure you hit that like button a lot, because it is the first issue, and first issues are always brilliant to see, especially with a new character such as Silk. I've already given my thoughts on the issue. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, mainly because I'm kind of a little bit disappointed that they released the issue before the Amazing Spider-Man issue 15, because we still haven't seen the end, like the official end of the Spider-Verse, but they released this issue anyway, and that just isn't right to me. I mean, like, I don't know, it's just kind of spoiled a little bit of it, you know, showing that 616 Spider-Man still gets back to New York and stuff like that. But guys, let me know in the comment section below, and of course don't forget to go to the link in the description to my Facebook page, because I did preview this issue months ago, and of course I'll be previewing issues in the future. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like button, and of course the must do is to hit the subscribe button for more comics in the future. Spider-Gwen is actually coming out next week, so that's going to be interesting. And yeah, so I will see you guys in my next video.